Hey, Cowboys Nation, let's get into the heart of what's going on with Dallas this season because, honestly, it's not pretty. The way this team has started is raising serious concerns, especially when it comes to the defense. After watching them struggle against the Bears and then seeing how the Giants came in and completely dismantled what was supposed to be a solid front, it's hard not to feel alarmed. This isn't just a one-game fluke. The issues are structural, and they touch every part of the defensive system. The front line looks overwhelmed, the linebackers aren't making the impact you need, and the secondary is constantly getting exposed. If you're expecting big plays or any kind of consistent resistance, right now, you're going to be disappointed. It's one thing to have a couple of shaky games. It's another to watch your defense bend over and let almost every team put up points like it's a casual practice session. The numbers tell the story. Yards per game, points allowed, completion rates. All of it paints a picture of a unit that is struggling on every front. Teams are averaging nearly a first down every time they throw the ball against the Cowboys. That's not just bad. That's historically bad for a franchise that has prided itself on being America's team. And then there's the injury situation with CD Lamb. Reports indicate a high ankle sprain, which normally means you're looking at a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks sidelined. That's if things go by the book. But these injuries are tricky. Sometimes players try to come back too soon and then end up worsening the problem, sitting out for multiple games anyway. From what the team is saying, they're hoping it's not as severe as it could have been, a lower-grade sprain that might let him return sooner. Still, even the possibility of missing a key player like Lamb can dramatically shift the trajectory of the Cowboys season. If he can't go, the offense is going to feel it. And right now, with the defense as it is, you can't afford to lose any weapon on the offensive side of the ball. Every week matters. Every play matters. And without him at full strength, the challenge just gets steeper. Now, let's dive into what's going on with the defensive side of the ball, because that's where the real nightmare is unfolding. The front line can't generate pressure. The defensive ends and linebackers are failing to disrupt the quarterback, and the secondary can't cover the field effectively. You got opposing quarterbacks not just completing passes, but racking up yards like it's a drill in practice. Russell Wilson looked like a superstar against them. Caleb Williams had his best game of the season, and that's not even counting all the other offenses that have been rolling through Dallas. It doesn't matter if you've got the best coaching plan on paper. If your players can't execute and your coverage schemes are constantly getting exposed, it's over. The Cowboys are giving up explosive plays with alarming frequency, and the statistics aren't just bad. They're historically bad for this franchise. Passer rating against them is sky high. Completion percentages are soaring. Yards per play rank near the bottom of the league. And the points they're giving up? Almost 31 per game. That's a number that makes it nearly impossible to stay competitive in any matchup unless the offense is putting up points like a video game cheat code. Even when it comes to run defense, which has been the one area showing some hope, the gains are overshadowed by the catastrophic pass defense. The Cowboys rank in the middle of the league against the run, managing to limit yardage per carry effectively. But when teams drop back to pass, it's like opening the gates. You're allowing nearly a first down per play. You're failing to generate pressure in time, and third and fourth down defense is practically non-existent. Opposing teams are converting on critical downs at frightening rates. That's not just a minor problem. That's a systemic issue. When you combine a barely competent pass rush with a secondary that's constantly getting exposed, you're creating a perfect storm for blowout losses. And that storm has already started forming this season. The coaching staff is trying to implement a bend but don't break scheme, a zone-heavy approach designed to limit big plays. In theory, that style can work, but it relies on disciplined execution at every level. You can't bend repeatedly without breaking if your players aren't hitting their marks, or if opposing quarterbacks are reading the zones like an open textbook. And that's exactly what's happening. The front four can't get pressure consistently, the linebackers aren't closing gaps, and the secondary is making too many mental errors. You add in missed assignments, blown coverages, and the occasional bad angle on a tackle, and suddenly every defensive drive is a gamble. It's exhausting to watch, and for the fans, it's frustrating because you know the potential is there, talent exists on the roster, but execution is failing in every critical moment. Injuries compound the problem. Missing key players like Micah Parsons has left holes that the current defensive rotation can't fill. Even if Parsons were active, it's not like one superstar can suddenly fix everything. Defensive cohesion takes time and consistency. And with the Cowboys' current personnel issues, that cohesion is nowhere to be found. You see the chaos on the field, and it mirrors the numbers. Pressure rates are low, sacks are scarce, and time to throw for the quarterback is uncomfortably long. On top of that, the secondary is forced into situations where they're constantly reacting rather than anticipating. That reactionary style allows offenses to exploit the smallest mistakes, turning a slight misalignment into a big play in the blink of an eye. And then there's the psychological impact. A defense this leaky doesn't just affect the scoreboard, it affects the entire team dynamic. When your offense knows that whatever you do, the defense might not hold, your play calling starts shifting. You have to score on every possession, take more risks, and often stretch your playbook in ways that aren't sustainable. The ecosystem of football means every flaw multiplies. A weak defense puts pressure on the offense, which then forces players into high-stress situations, leading to turnovers or stall drives. It's a chain reaction, and Dallas is feeling every link in that chain right now. When you look at the stats, the severity hits home. Completion rates against, passer ratings allowed, explosive plays given up, all of it ranks among the worst the Cowboys have experienced in decades. Teams are moving the ball effortlessly, and the defensive adjustments that might have worked in small doses are completely inadequate in today's league. Zone coverage isn't fooling anyone, blitzes are ineffective, and man coverage is getting shredded. Players who were expected to step up aren't producing, and the reliance on young talent or replacement players has exposed depth issues that could haunt the team all season. Now, let's dig into the reality of the Cowboys season so far, because the concerns go far beyond just injuries and schemes. Week 1 started with a narrow loss in primetime, a game that could have gone either way, and it already set a tone of frustration. There were critical moments where a single play or a single mistake cost the team dearly. Week 2 brought a thrilling overtime win against the Giants, an emotional roller coaster that showcased the offense's potential, but it also exposed inconsistencies that would become impossible to ignore. By week 3, the defense's cracks were fully exposed, and the Cowboys got beaten by an NFC opponent in a way that left little room for optimism. The pattern is unsettling because it mirrors the 2020 season, where a promising start dissolved under defensive shortcomings, leaving the team unable to compete at a high level despite flashes of offensive brilliance. When you look at the numbers and the tape together, the story is brutal. The Cowboys are surrendering nearly 31 points per game. Their pass defense is historically poor, and opposing quarterbacks are averaging nearly 9 yards per play against them. Third and fourth down defense is almost non-existent, allowing conversion rates that make it nearly impossible to mount a comeback or control the flow of the game. Explosive plays are happening far too frequently, and the zone schemes that were supposed to prevent big plays are failing almost every time. This isn't a temporary slump. This is a defense that is struggling on every single level, and every week without corrective measures, the problem compounds. Add the inconsistency from key players in the secondary, a front line that can't generate meaningful pressure, and linebackers who are failing to close gaps effectively. And you have a situation where the team is forced into reactive football on every possession. It's not just about individual mistakes either. The defensive system itself is showing serious cracks. Matt Eberflus' bend but don't break philosophy, inherited from Rod Marinelli, is struggling to survive against today's high-octane offenses. Zone coverage is meant to keep offenses in check, to limit big plays and force teams to grind out long drives, but when your players aren't executing, even the best strategy fails. You end up watching games where the opposing quarterback reads the field effortlessly, hits receivers in stride, and racks up yardage as if the defense isn't even there. Blitzes are failing, stunts are ineffective, and any pressure the Cowboys manage to generate is often low-rate or poorly timed, giving quarterbacks ample opportunity to make plays. Even against weaker teams, The defense is being pushed to its limits, exposing talent gaps and forcing coaching adjustments that are often too little, too late. Let's talk about the secondary, because this is where a lot of the frustration is concentrated. Players who were expected to be reliable, to create turnovers, or at least prevent big gains, are struggling. Both safeties have had lapses that turn otherwise routine plays into devastating gains for the opponent. Trayvon Diggs, who is anticipated to be a cornerstone of the secondary, is currently underperforming and looking like a liability in critical moments. Man coverage has been inconsistent at best. Zone coverage is failing to disguise weaknesses, and communication errors are leading to blown assignments on nearly every drive. It's a perfect storm of defensive inefficiency, where youth, inexperience, and miscommunication are colliding with systemic issues to create one of the worst defensive performances the franchise has seen in decades. Even the front four, which should be the unit generating pressure and creating chaos, is underwhelming. Without consistent pressure from the edges, quarterbacks are allowed to sit in the pocket and dissect the secondary. The linebackers are not filling gaps effectively, and rotations are exposing depth issues that the team cannot afford at this stage. Players like Sam Williams, Dante Fowler, and Marsh Neandit have had flashes, but consistency is missing. Every sack or big play seems like a rarity rather than a dependable element of the defensive plan. And when you combine that with a secondary that is constantly overmatched, it becomes clear that the Cowboys' defensive issues aren't confined to one position group. They are systemic. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. When a defense consistently fails, it alters the mentality of the entire team. The offense is forced to take risks they wouldn't normally take. The play calling shifts toward high-risk, high-reward strategies, and the quarterback is under constant pressure to perform at peak efficiency just to stay competitive. This is a ripple effect. One unit's struggles infect the rest of the team, creating stress, frustration, and inconsistency across the board. When a single player goes down, like CeeDee Lamb, the ramifications are magnified because the offense now has to compensate for the added pressure of a defense that is unlikely to hold. It becomes a cycle that is hard to break without significant adjustments, and right now, those adjustments are not happening fast enough to stabilize the situation. Looking forward, the schedule isn't going to make things easier. The Cowboys face high-caliber opponents that will exploit every defensive weakness. Primetime games add pressure, and any misstep could quickly escalate into a demoralizing defeat. Week after week, the team needs to win games where they can realistically compete, or the playoff picture starts slipping away. It's not just about individual talent. It's about cohesion, execution, and systemic improvement, and the clock is ticking. Each game missed without meaningful defensive corrections compounds the challenges for the remainder of the season, making it harder and harder for the Cowboys to regain momentum. The reality is that this team is at a crossroads. Coaching adjustments, personnel shifts, and strategic innovations are needed immediately. Without significant intervention, the defense will continue to struggle, and the offense will be forced into unsustainable situations, relying on scoring at near-record levels just to stay in games. It's a precarious position that demands both patience and urgency, because every week without improvement risks turning a promising season into a lost one. There's talent on the roster, but talent alone cannot compensate for systemic failure, inconsistent execution, and a defense that is routinely being exposed. The Cowboys need to find solutions, not temporary fixes, or else the same patterns that haunted them in 2020 are likely to repeat themselves. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling in the NFL world, and it seems the Dallas Cowboys are at the center of the latest buzz. Sources close to the team suggest that quarterback Jared Goff could be heading to Texas, igniting excitement and speculation among fans and analysts alike. The move, still unconfirmed, would mark a major shakeup for the Cowboys, who have been quietly searching for stability at the quarterback position. Goff, a former first-round pick and seasoned veteran, has long been known for his poise in the pocket and ability to orchestrate a team's offense under pressure. Yet, despite flashes of brilliance during his tenure with previous clubs, questions have lingered about whether he can consistently lead a team to postseason success. Dallas, however, appears willing to take that gamble, drawn perhaps by Goff's experience and the potential chemistry with a roster loaded with offensive talent. Insiders speculate that the discussions have been ongoing for weeks, with both sides reportedly intrigued by the possibilities. Some sources suggest that Goff's presence could immediately elevate the Cowboys' offensive game, providing a stable, veteran presence that could complement the team's star-studded skill positions. Others argue that the move might be a short-term fix, a calculated risk in a league where quarterback success often defines a franchise's trajectory. Fans are already buzzing on social media, dissecting every possible angle, from Goff's compatibility with the offensive line to the impact on rookie development and team strategy. While nothing has been officially announced, the mere prospect of Jared Goff donning the silver and blue has ignited a firestorm of debate. Analysts are divided. Some see a potential playoff breakthrough. Others caution that the Cowboys might be chasing a mirage, hoping Goff can recapture the spark that once made him a promising young quarterback. In any case, the rumor has put Dallas squarely in the spotlight, with eyes from across the league now watching every development. Whether it becomes reality or remains just another tantalizing what if, the chatter alone is enough to dominate headlines and fuel conversations in bars, living rooms, and online forums alike. For now, Cowboys fans can only speculate, imagining the possibilities of a new era under Jared Goff, as the NFL rumor mill continues to churn. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.